With the gommage imminent, Gustave decides to accompany Sophie down to the pier one last time. On their way there, however, there are many sights and sounds to take in, should you veer off the main path. The first one of interest is a piano strewn off to the side. Pressing the interact button causes the piano to play a single note, but if you continue to press the button, you'll begin to hear a familiar melody. Mechanically and thematically, it makes very clear sense Gustave would play the Lumière leitmotif here, since it doubles as his own theme. However, if you approach the piano while controlling Sophie, it plays a new, unfamiliar melody. While we don't know it at the time, this is our introduction to one of Expedition 33's most important character themes, Aline's. But as the player, we haven't been formally introduced to anyone called Aline yet, and so if you take the game at its word, or sound, it would be reasonable to assume at this point that this little melody is Sophie's leitmotif. It isn't until we replay the game that the use of Aline's theme on the piano can begin to make some sense. A little while later, as they approach the pier, we hear Sophie expressing sadness at the paintress's solitude and demeanor. With so much open fear, resentment, and hatred towards the paintress, Sophie instead chooses empathy. In Gustave's theme, we can quite literally hear his desire to save and protect what remains of Lumière. But with Sophie associated with Aline's theme instead, what does that say about her? What does that tell us about Aline? Not too far from the lone piano is another interesting diegetic mystery. Off to another side of the same public square is a lone woman surrounded by flowers that can be heard humming another unfamiliar melody. I had completely missed this on my first playthrough, and it wasn't until the awesome YouTuber Professor Curry made a video on the topic that I became aware of its existence. Their video goes into great detail speculating about the lore implications of this character, concluding that to them, the melody they are humming sounds the most like Aline's theme. I don't know if I hear what they're hearing, although thematically it's an interesting theory. But curiouser still is that there seems to be a couple different takes of her humming. The melody the character hums in Professor Curry's video sounded a bit different from when I tried capturing her audio. When I first approached her, her humming sounded like this. In this version, the melody is pretty different. However, if you stack the audio files of her two performances on top of each other, you'll immediately see that their cadence and timing is very similar. Let's hear what they sound like when played together. sure sounds like they're harmonizing something. I know I've got some viewers who know the Expedition 33 soundtrack way better than I do, so I'd be curious if any of you have any theories as to what this is all about. Anyway, a little further down the road, you can encounter a young woman named Eloise, despairing over the futility of the expeditions. In an attempt to prove that this expedition could be different, Gustave battles against a dummy to showcase his very powerful mechanical arm. The accompanying battle track is well worth discussing. Lumiere's Name is a rousing tango track with an accordion and cello functioning as dueling lead instruments. A relentless kick drum and rhythm acoustic guitar round out the simple yet very effective instrumentation. The rhythmic interplay of the acoustic guitar and cello in particular is worth singling out. Compared to the very busy, arguably overbearing sound mix of the preceding battle track, Our Drafts Unite, this one here is much more breathable and discernible, yet still functions well as a heart-pumping rallying call or battle cry. The piece's verse section introduces a memorable cello melody line, while the unmistakable sound of the accompanying accordion gives the piece a fairly novel rhythm and cadence. While this battle here is where you can first hear this theme, it is more closely associated with your encounters against the enigmatic mime enemies, one of which can be found a little bit farther down the street. The prevalence of the mimes, the accordions, the berets, the baguettes, and the melting Eiffel Tower are some of the many, many reminders that yes, this game is very French. Or at the very least, that's how it wants to present itself. In reality, its influences are much broader, and I'm not just talking about its many Japanese role-playing influences. For all its beautiful representations of French architecture, history, and culture, the art director is Belgian. And even if you play the game in French, the lip flaps are tied to the English voice acting, primarily done by A-list British voice actors, reading from a script written first in English by an American. This is a more international game than it sometimes lets on, and this is true even in a piece like in Lumiere's Name. Tango music originally came from Argentina and Uruguay, the accordion from Germany, and yet in Lumiere's Name is one of the most quintessentially French-sounding pieces of music within the whole game. Ultimately, it's all these pieces, the environments, the wardrobes, the architecture, the damn mimes, and of course, the music, that all come together to sell the cohesive, strange yet familiar world that Sandfall Interactive have created. Closing out the battle triggers the track's outro fanfare. The acoustic guitar and kick drum vanish, leading to a more somber harmony between the cello and accordion, and then eventually three cellos panned left, middle, and right. Okay, that's where we're going to leave it for today. If poring over the details of the environmental diegetic music hidden within games is something that interests you, I cannot recommend my series on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth enough. That is a game bursting at the seams with in-world musicians, radios, and, of course, many people humming. That series follows the same format as this Expedition 33 series, although I've made way more episodes. The next one will be the 30th, which feels somewhat monumental. I hope I have something big to announce. Both that Rebirth series and this Expedition 33 mini-series are big time commitments and would 100% not be possible without the support of the very fine folks on Patreon, so I encourage you to check it out. Alright, talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.